would have liked to join, but didn't get the opportunity to join. All right, so for those who do not know, this is Amanda's mission. Do I have a volunteer who feels comfortable reading the mission for us all? Were you gonna read it, Candace?
I just realized that I wasn't on mute. I'm happy to read it. Amanda's mission: to prepare students for high academic achievement beyond what they think possible so that they become active contributors to building a better world.
Thank you so much, Candace. Next are our norms. So these are agreed upon, for lack of better words, rules of how we agree to show up in our space during our time together. So one of the things we want to always make sure that we're doing is honoring time. So I'm going to always try to start on time and then get us out on time as well. We want to make sure that we're all contributing to the efforts of the group, that we seek and value multiple perspectives, that we voice our concerns and questions fearlessly, that we take care of ourselves, others, and our common spaces whenever we are together, that we always assume best intent, that we listen as much as we speak, and that we're biased towards yes. Any questions about those norms or any norms that you would like to add that you don't already see on our list? The chat is fine, or you can come off mute and speak out loud, whatever you feel comfortable with. All right, it sounds like we're doing it right here. So next is our goals. So these were our goals for last year, and we still are moving towards these same exact goals, but open to change anything if anybody feels strongly about us making a change. So our goal is to establish a foundation that builds an environment that reinforces the mindset of a crew approach by encouraging deep connections between family, students, and school. We hope to accomplish this by serving as a bridge between families and staff, co-creating an inclusive environment that allows staff, children, and families to feel welcomed throughout their Amana Academy West journey. Also being a thought partner that remains solution-focused while navigating the path to create a strong PTO organization. Any questions about the goals or anything that you guys feel like we should add to the goals? All right. Oh, wait, we have a chat. All right, now we're going to go to the space of introducing yourself. And so since we have such a large group, we're going to send you off or invite you to join the group that your child is in, so the grade level that your child is in. So let us quickly get those out there and you guys can join. And if you need any help joining, just let us know and we will be able to help you. And we're going to put you guys in those rooms for about 10 minutes. And so we invite you to introduce yourself, say your child's name and the classroom that they are in. Any questions before we send you guys off?
Yeah, where the invite comes to?
Where's the invite? I'm sorry, I heard two different questions. The first one was where's the invite at?
Yeah, for the separate rooms, I'm sorry.
Okay, yep, so it should have popped up on your screen, but if you were joining by phone, let me know your name and your child's grade and I can put you in that room.
Okay, my name is Eric and my son's name is Eric Cook.
Okay, and is the first grade?
Yes.
Okay, so let me see if I can find, it says join by iPhone, that might be one of you.
Yeah, that's me, I'm at work, I'm trying to multitask.
Oh, no worries, no worries, I understand. So I'm hoping I did the right one.
Okay, I see it.
Did I move you?
Yeah, Marquilla, I have two children in different grades. So this is always a challenge for me when you guys split by grade like this because I don't know which one to join. So
Okay,
either first or fourth grade, it doesn't matter.
Something to note in the future. I will make note of that. What room would you like to go into?
feel like I want to pick, I'm biased.
You don't want to pick, you said?
I guess put me in first grade, I guess.
Okay, what about if, okay, I'll do first grade.
Hi, my name is Charlene. I have the same situation. I'm on my phone, calling in. I have 2 kids as well, but I can go to the 3rd grade.
You want to go to 3rd grade? Okay, cool.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Who else needs help going to a room?
Beth
DJ.
Avila needs to go to kindergarten.
I'm sorry, say your name one more time.
Beth Abdila,
Okay. And you need to go to kindergarten, you said?
kindergarten.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Amber Reese. I need to go to kindergarten as well.
All right, I'll send you to kindergarten.
Thank you.
No problem.
This is
Anybody-
Carmen.
Ma'am?
We go 3rd grade, please.
I
Ms.
heard
Contz?
Carmen, 3rd grade.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Anybody else?
DJ and Sabrina, 2nd grade.
Okay, 2nd grade.
Thank you.
No problem. Anybody else?
I need to go to 4th grade.
Was that April?
Michelle.
Michelle said 4th grade. Okay. Anybody else?
Tamika Everett.
Uh-huh. What grade?
Sorry, Marquila, that's me. I'm asking Tamika if she wants us to assign her.
Right out of the breakout room. Uh-oh.
Hey guys, welcome
Hey.
back. I hope that you got to meet somebody new and that you're looking forward to connecting with somebody on campus soon. All right, I'm gonna turn it over to Keisha to give a budget update for us.
Hi, so this slide and the next slide, I'm going to be covering our pertinent PTO items. So this first one is our budget. We have a lot of great events that we have aligned for this year. So the budget is a lot larger than it was last year, but just hitting some very high level points. We have an opening cash balance of 8,200. We have 2 major fundraisers that we will be looking for participation in. One is our Double Good fundraiser, which did absolutely amazing last year. So we're hoping to match or even do better this year. And I will let the committee's leads talk a little bit more about that. And then the second one is the Raise Craze fundraiser. So those are 2 major fundraisers. From an expense perspective, we are looking for dues. We have a lot of options available for you to select that would align to your family needs. But then for everything else, we have a lot of promotions. We want to be able to give back to you as PTO members, give back to our students and our staff. And so Marquila is not showing the whole screen for me, but we're hoping to bring in income that is about $57,000. Our expenses are about $13,000, and round that out to be about 44 that we're hoping to have as an ending balance. As a due paying PTO member, you will be able to vote on this budget. So we're looking for any questions, any advice, any suggestions that you may have so that we can have a successful year.
Isha, I have a question on,
Ma'am.
oh, can we go back? Sorry. For the income portion at the top there, is that projected income? I just want to make sure I'm following. Is this what we're hoping to raise through these events here, or how should we be interpreting that section?
That is correct. This, with the exception of the opening balance, everything that's listed here is a projected balance or
Okay.
projected spend or expenses. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much.
Is there a reason why we're projecting such a large remaining balance? Are we trying to plan for like some kind of a major initiative for the school in a couple of years, or what's the goal?
No, we're not. Personal goal is that we always leave something for the next year, just so we are being good stewards of our funds. We're making sure that the expenses are as less as possible. So if there's ways that we can give back and as PTO members, you believe that we should be increasing, we're happy to do so. but this is what we felt was comfortable to operate for this year. Did that address your question, Nicole?
I guess I'm trying to just think terms of more, what's the strategic goal of having projecting a $40,000 account balance for the PTO? If there's, I understand you definitely want to leave operating funds for the continuing year for the next year. But I'm just wondering, what is the purpose? Raising funds is great, but I hope there's a reason for it, right?
Yeah, so the projected income, if we were able to hit the 49,000 that's there, that's great. It is a pretty conservative number that we have. So obviously if we don't hit that, then we would not end up with the 45 that's projected. Happy to include more events to kind of balance that out, but just really a conservative budget that we're projecting here. But
Okay,
open to.
good. Yeah, sounds good. I think we'll see, like you said, how this year goes, and then maybe that can affect some of our programming or some of the ways we think about more, I don't know, maybe more long-term ways we can support the school.
Yep, and I was going to add to that, Nicole, just that what you just said, that like we will be able to look at these numbers towards the end of the year and see what we can do next year, depending on what our ending balance is. So we brought the group together and we had them put out their budget goals for this school year. And I think that knowing what we will be walking into the next year will give them the opportunity to dream a little bigger, knowing that we have more money available, and also can talk to the school and see what their needs are as well.
That sounds great.
Thank you. Tiffany, I noticed that you had your hand raised. Do you still have a question?
Kind of, but not really. I think y'all covered it. I was just gonna, just in case anyone was having a similar question, I just wanted to kind of ask about with the balance that we may carry over into the next year, how much of that might we hand over or use to help with the school versus keeping it in the PTO?
Yeah, so we actually have two funds, Tiffany, well, not we, but the school, if you want to look at it that way. One is the PTO and one is the principal's fund. Depending on the activity, we will partner. But what you're showing here truly, or what we're showing here truly is for the PTO.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, that's really awesome. Thank you, Keisha.
So sorry, guys. I know the school will likely drive, what the need is. But one thing that I honestly feel as a school we need possibly is a library, like, or some type of book repository for the kids. So if there's, like I say, suggestion on, what we feel as a community that might be needed in the school as a whole, I think, the need for a library is something that I would definitely like to raise.
Shannon, I love that idea. And for anyone else that have similar ideas, we can bring it forward, vote on it, and just start a process of funding it. So that's a great idea.
Yeah, I like the idea of a media center. I think that's a great idea. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Is
Any
it
other
possible?
questions about the budget?
Yes, this is Charlene. Is it, because I love all of the ideas that are coming out, but is it possible to maybe, like you said before, and I think you already said you're going to do, but you're going to solicit feedback from maybe the members so that they can kind of, maybe bring out great ideas like the media center, and that might be a goal that we can kind of aspire to. Because I think once we have an idea of what we're going to be trying to get, I think you'll see that you'll have so much more engagement and participation.
Yes, you're absolutely right. As due paying members, we're going to ask for you to vote and also give your ideas as well. So looking forward to hearing all the wonderful ideas that come from you guys. Any other questions about the budget?
I just wanted to speak very quickly as the co-chair of the fundraising committee. I know that the number or the idea of leaving such a huge balance is, it may be ambitious. But as we are entering our second year, and we did have such success with our fundraisers last year, I just want you guys to know that as we move forward with our fundraisers, we will work with the school to put together a goal so that we will be working towards something tangible through our fundraisers. That it will be communicated as we get closer to our fundraisers and things like that. And as we get a chance to meet with Principal Brown and determine what some of the most urgent needs are for our teachers, for our students, and so forth. I just want to assure you that we're not raising money just for the sake of having money, but we do want to partner with our families and our teachers and our school to see how that money will be spent as we're still new and we still have sorry, there's a train. I live in Mapleton too. But we will be able to communicate some of those goals as we get closer to the fundraiser. So you'll be able to see, and as we execute the fundraisers, so see how successful they are and whether or not that's actual tangible money that we'll have to spend. We will work with the principal to make sure that we can look for opportunities to better support the school. So hope that answers some of your questions or concerns. We'll talk about more of that as we move into our chance to speak as a committee, but I just wanted to address that real quickly.
Thank you, Heather. Valerie, I actually just cleaned the website. So you're asking for last year's budget. I just cleaned the website to start with the new PTO. I can go back and add the August report. Sorry, the May report. So you can have those numbers. All right, so for the second slide, again, just promoting the things that are available as paying members. We do have 2 positions open. One is for a secretary and the second is a vice president. And so we're asking anyone that is interested or know anyone that might be interested to just please take a look, see what the requirements are, and go ahead and nominate either yourself or someone else.
And we will be taking nominations up until September 1st. After September 1st, we will no longer be taking any nominations.
So yes, there were some questions floating around in the chat about PTO dues. We did a survey. So for new parents, we did a survey towards the end of last year. Just wanted to understand how the PTO did. And one of the categories was around membership dues. Those results are also on our website, but we had mixed comments on reduce the fees, increase the fees, offer incentives. And so you'll see that there are 6 options on the screen, or really 5 for family that's available to you. We will be paying our dues in Infinite Campus. The store should be up by September 29th. And just I'll pause for a second just so you can see what the options are in terms of membership dues. Oh, actually, we have some families on the line. So for our Amana educators, we have a due for, and this is annual dues just for the family. So it's $10. If you are looking for within the family category, sorry, if you have $15, $25, 50, 75, and 100, and they each come with some type of Amana branding. I am gonna butcher your name. I'm sorry, Kadri or Kadri?
I'll update it here too. So hi again. I'm gonna say thank you in advance for my questions because I'm a new parent. But I heard that in order to contribute maybe thought leadership or ideas on the budget, you have to be a dues paying member. But the dues, the site won't be up in Infinite Campus for about another 4 to 6 weeks. So is in that window, will the budget be finalized, or as a new parent, will I still have a chance to pay dues and also contribute? So I just went into the Infinite Campus and didn't anything in the shop I could pay dues.
No, I'm sorry, you may have misunderstood. We're talking September, August 29th. So maybe I did say September, I'm sorry. So in a couple of weeks, the store will be open in Infinite Campus for you to pay your dues. No, we're not gonna move forward with the budget until we vote on that, and that will be coming in September. Sorry if I misspoke.
No. Thank you for clarifying. Sounds good.
And our voting period will be September 11th through September 19th. And so at that time, you'll vote on the budget, you'll vote on the members who have been nominated for the position, and you'll also vote on our meeting times going forward after after September.
Got it. Thank you.
As far as the dues, for those of us who are already members last year and we pay again this year, like for myself, I don't need another t-shirt. Is there a way I can indicate? So I don't want you like to waste money ordering, another t-shirt for me. Excuse me.
Yeah. Can you give it to your husband, Nicole?
I'm not giving him anything. No, I'm joking.
But if it helps, it'll be a new design. So last year was just for the founding PTO members. This shirt for this year will be a new design, if that helps.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay.
I can teach
Karen is
everybody
Karen,
how to.
Nicole.
I can teach everybody how to make tote bags out of t-shirts so we can upcycle them.
Oh, that's a nice idea.
That is.
There you go.
I like that idea, Abby.
Okay. So before I exit PTO business to turn it over to Ms. Nema, I just want to make sure that I cover any questions. I'm juggling the chat as well. So did I miss any questions?
I didn't have a question, but I had a comment. I just wanted to thank you guys for the calendar that you created. I think that's so helpful as far as being able to be on task with the events that's going on. I think last year it was a little disconnect as far as, needing volunteers and having enough time for us to actually be able to come out to do the volunteering. So I do want to thank you guys for creating that. That was great.
No problem. That shows that we listen to your feedback, right?
Definitely. Thank you.
And I saw that there was a question in the chat, and I think it was referring to where do you pay dues? It's going to be an Infinite Campus. It's not available just yet. It will be available by August 29th. Go ahead, Candace.
Quick question. I cannot seem to remember my Infinite Campus information. Who should I reach out to get that reset?
I would reach out to the Amana West info email address or the front desk email address. Both
You'll
of them should be.
I'm sorry, let me butt in. You'll actually reach out to Anthony Colbert, our data clerk. So ACOLBERT at amanaacademy.org. That's ACOLBERT at amanaacademy.org. I'll make sure to drop it in the chat box as well.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Principal Brown. I learned something new today. Any other questions? Go ahead, PLO. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm sorry I'm late. Had to
That's
pick up kids, but I do have a question. I'm not sure if y'all went over this or not, but have we thought about creating a space for our males, our male parents as well? I'm not sure if you guys discussed anything about that, but I know that we have talked about it, trying to create a space for them this year.
Yep, it's definitely in the works. It's definitely in the works. And I don't know, Keisha, if you want to speak more to what you already have started there, but it's definitely in the works.
Yeah, so what we're
We come in and see how long he's still ain't put no shoes on.
okay. I am actively tapping males. I want to call it men at Amana, men in Amana, males at Amana, some name along those lines. But I am reaching out to men that I've seen on campus that are active. We will kick off with some type of focus group. There's a lot of thoughts and ideas floating around on how their presence will be seen and felt on campus. So what I would say is if you are aware of someone, it could be a dad, an uncle, a grandfather, a friend, that you would like for me to reach out to, please, I'll put my email in the chat. Please send their info to me so we can do that. But we will be heavily getting involved this year.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I have a couple men who are at the bus stops that have expressed that, they would love to create a space just for them. They're not always interested in joining our meetings. So I just thought that was a great idea to create something for them. But I'll pass that information along as well.
And that was one of the feedback too that we received from the survey.
Any other questions about dues?
Marquilla, can you please put your email in the chat as well? Because someone told me that we should have received like a t-shirt and magnet if we paid our dues for last year, and I didn't receive anything, so I don't know when that may have happened.
Okay, yep, and are you gonna be at Community Circle tomorrow?
Yes, I sure will.
All right, we can catch you then, but I will go ahead and put my email address in there.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
And thank you for bringing that up. So yes, if you're on the line and you were a pay-in member last year, you did not receive your gift, please let us know if you're going to be at Community Circle. We need to get rid of your stuff. So I'm going to see if we could also put it in your kiddos' bags if you're not able to. So just let me know. All right, so this time I'm going to turn it over to Miss Naima. Miss Naima leads our school nutrition program. And Miss Naima, you're up.
Thanks so much, Keisha and Marquella. Thank you so much for just giving me a couple of minutes to speak with our parents. Our Amanda West family is a very special extension here for me in my heart. I am the school nutrition manager for both Amanda West and Amanda Fulton. And I wanted to take a couple of minutes because I met a lot of new families as well as the returning families during the open house and had an opportunity to talk a little bit with you all about our school nutrition program. But I wanted to kind of get an opportunity to speak to a larger scale of our parents as well as share some insights and updates. So to kind of level set for our new families as well as provide the update for our new family, I want to give you a little bit about what was as it stood for the end of the school year last year and where we are today. So we ended the school year last year with a vended program of hot food being brought in for our students. As many of you know, we went through a couple of different iterations of being able to cook on site to eventually not being able to cook on site. And we was able to find a vendor who brought hot meals in daily for our students. Once that program was getting ready to end, we prepared to open up a RFP in the spring of last year, but unfortunately did not have the interest that we were expecting from vendors due to our program size. So we proceeded to explore the options of having a private meal program for this school year. And the reason for that was because we wanted to make sure that we still had an opportunity for our students to be able to have nutritious and delicious meals here on campus. At the same time, the state of Georgia advised us, the Department of Education advised us that we had to become our own SFA or school food authority. So basically what that meant is that we had to become an independent entity from our flagship campus, which is Amanda North Fulton. So when we started out the school year last year, we were kind of an umbrella nutrition program with Amanda West and Amanda Fulton together. As we proceeded through the school year, that's when the state of Georgia let us know that actually we want you to be your own individual entity. You want Amanda West to have their own nutrition program and then allow Amanda Fulton to have their nutrition program. So fast forward, as we proceeded throughout the course of the summer, we were going through this process of becoming our own SFA or school food authority. At the same time, still actively trying to seek a vendor who would be able to supply meals for our students on campus via our current situation of the inability to cook in the kitchen, but then also realizing that, again, our program size was not attractive to some of the vendors and wanting to come on board with that option. So we proceeded down the path of having a private meal program for this school year. And as many of you know, up to literally the wire, we were at an open house and we were talking about it. We were just waiting for that last sign off to take place. And thankfully it happened. We were able to secure a vendor this year that not only was able to cook on campus in the kitchen that we have now, but is also able to provide the breakfast and the lunch meals and hot meals at that. So in doing so, though, we had to do that as a private program. So the current school nutrition program or the current nutrition program for Amanda West is a private program with a private vendor. And the program, as those of you who have received the email, and it's also been in our newsletters, is called A Simmering Affair. And they provide breakfast and lunch on site daily. And if you haven't had the opportunity, Miss Tina is fabulous. The children are enjoying the meal. So parents, if when you're there volunteering or you're stopping in for community circle, if you come early enough to get an opportunity to engage in breakfast with your student, or you're on lunch duty and you have the opportunity to, have lunch with your student, I challenge you to do it. I think you will actually enjoy the food. And there's not too many schools. I think parents and students alike will say that the food is actually good and it's also wholesome. So again, current state, we have this private meal program with our vendor, A Simmering Affair. And also we are currently not operating the federal program, which is the National School Lunch and Breakfast Program. And we are still in the state of being reapproved by the Department of Education to be our own SFA, or School Food Authority. That process can sometimes take anywhere from 6 to 10 months. But again, we started this process at the end of last school year, so we're well into it. And we're almost towards the tail end. I will share that we got some really good updates earlier or late yesterday afternoon, that we're at a point where we can begin to move forward with a RFP, which basically puts us at a point where we can say, hey, we have this program and we're looking for a vendor to come and provide for our program. So with that being said, as I mentioned, we're waiting to be reapproved by the state as our own school food authority. We are not participating in the National School Lunch and Breakfast Program currently, but as soon as we are reapproved by the state, we will then participate in the program again. We are not collecting, nor did we collect, any free or reduced lunch applications for students to qualify for, because we are not running the federal program. Families pay for all meals. So as the meals, if you are interested in your child participating in the program this year, understanding that it is a private program, it comes out of pocket for our parents. We had a discussion, the administration, about this, just a sheer inconvenience, right? We have a lot of families that were eligible for free or reduced lunch last year. And with us not being in the program currently, it puts maybe some families or some students in a compromising position in terms of the meals. So what we've decided is that the school is going to allocate a nominal amount of funding to cover students who could qualify for free or reduced lunch through direct certification from the state of Georgia. We, again, because we are not participating in the national program, we cannot by law collect federal applications and say that this person qualifies and this person doesn't qualify. That is something that specifically is done by the USDA. Future state, once we are approved as our own school food authority, we will move forward with being a federal program participant and utilizing the free or reduced lunch applications, and also being able to open up our RFP formally and able to secure a vendor who can not only fulfill the program requirements, but also continue to prepare meals on site. Now, what I will say is that through this change, we try to minimize the amount of change that's actually being projected, not only on our students, but on our families as well. So while we are not active participants in the National School Lunch and Breakfast Program, we are still operating to some extent as such in terms of the guidelines that are required for nutritional components for our program. So we're making sure to maintain those elements of it. So when we transition back into the national program, the federal program, there won't be a lot of disruption to the meal patterns and habits of our students. So we don't want to introduce chocolate cake and, water or juice, to our lunch menus, when those are things that are not qualified to be a part of it when we're actually in the national program. In regards to the luncheon menu options, again, we follow the same guidelines as the USDA recommends in terms of making sure that there are protein, grain, dairy, milk, and fruit and vegetable portions on every plate that a student receives as they pass through the line. And we also make sure that there are options for our families who have some dietary restrictions. So if you're lactose intolerant and that information is on file with our clinician and also put inside of Infinite Campus, then we can work with our vendor, A Simmering Affair, and make sure that there are meal options available for you. We also do provide a vegetarian option for those who are non-meat eaters at the school. The price for the meals did slightly change a little bit from last year to this year, again, realizing that we're not participating in a federal program. So our breakfast price is at $2.75 and our lunch price is at $4.50. Now, to be able to add funds to your student's account is the same process as last year. That did not change. You utilize Infinite Campus and the food service option, which all parents should have in their sidebar menu once they activate their Infinite Campus parent portal. And you're able to use the shopping cart there to go ahead and add funds to your student's account to be able to cover any of the purchases that they make. The way it works right now is students basically are able to get one breakfast or one lunch. If they choose to get an additional, they absolutely can. I don't know if time that actually allows for them to be able to consume more than one breakfast or lunch meal. But again, because it's a private program and you're paying for what it is that you specifically want, there aren't as many restrictions or limitations, I should say, as compared to the federal program. I didn't want to spend the entire meeting. I know this is a very PTO focused meeting, but I did want to take a moment just to kind of connect again with our parents on a larger scale to share this information. And then keeping in mind that you can always reach out to myself. My email address is on the screen, as well as schoolnutrition@amannaacademy.org. And there will be a separate session that we will have that will be school nutrition focused, that will continue to provide Amana West families with updates as to what's happening with the program, and as well as how we're progressing towards returning to a state of being able to participate in the National School Lunch and Breakfast Program. I'm looking to connect with Principal Brown in scheduling maybe like a lunch bunch with our parents, probably post-curriculum night, where we'll have an opportunity to dive more in depth and ask a lot more questions. I will stay on the line and answer a few. I do see some hands up, and I know that there were some comments posted in the chat room. But I will stay online to answer and address some of those, but keeping in mind that we'll have a more focused session in the weeks to come. Thank you.
So Michelle, you had your hand raised. Would you like to go?
Yes, I just, and I don't know if I missed this information or not, but is there a way for us to see what's being served on a daily basis? Like, I mean, some days my Braxton may want what's being served at school and some days he may not. And then that'll help me prepare for the days that he doesn't want to eat what's on the menu.
Yes, absolutely. So the menu is posted monthly, and I'm actually dropping it in the chat as we speak for the breakfast and for lunch. It was sent out via email, but that is also the link to the Amana West School Nutrition page. And at the very top of the, at the very bottom of the page is the links to the lunch menu and the breakfast menu. So you can review it with your student and figure out which days work for him or her to be able to enjoy lunch or breakfast, and then kind of plan accordingly from there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I see another.
Yeah.
That's me, Judith. I'm on my cell phone, sorry. So I got a question, and I may have the times wrong, but I got a message back saying that breakfast was from 7:30 to 7:50. And from my understanding, please correct me if I'm wrong, the gates open at 7:15. You do not start letting the kids out, getting them out of the car until 7:30. Then they have to walk up to get breakfast. There are some days that my son does want to eat breakfast just as camaraderie with other kids. Am I wrong about these times? Because if I'm not, I'm trying to figure out how much time do they have to actually eat breakfast? And then the second question is, she made a mention as far as we could actually come and sit with them to eat breakfast. And how is that possible for us to do that too, if we want to do that?
So to answer the first question, the breakfast times are correct unless Principal Brown has changed them or extended that time frame. But breakfast, keep in mind, is in the grab and go format. So it is not a formal sit down and enjoy it in the cafe. The students come in through the lunch line, they grab their breakfast, and then they consume that breakfast during their morning homeroom. So when I was mentioning the option of being able to come and actually enjoy breakfast as well, that was an option for you to come through, and maybe it's on a community circle day and you're there in the morning early because you're going to stay for a community circle, and you get an opportunity to try the breakfast at that time.
Got you. Thank you so much. And I saw that also on Principal Helena as far as the 8 o'clock. So it's from 7:30 to 8.
7:30 to 8. My apologies.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And I see a couple of really quick questions in the chat. So one of the questions was, can we start a donation fund for people who might not be able to pay for school lunch? As the head over our nutrition department, I absolutely would support something like that. I would say that that would be something that would be directed towards the PTO. That sounds like a option, maybe for a school lunch loan or something of that nature. There are things of that format that happen on other campuses. The Fulton campus is exploring those options with their PTO as well, and they do it at other schools all across the country. So I would say that would be a conversation to discuss with Marquella and Keisha and the rest of the board.
I have a quick question. If once you qualify for the federal program, is there a chance that you'll be able to keep the current vendor once you're in that program?
So that would be a lovely option. I will have to say that the federal program, because we do it through RFP, that it is based on bid, right? So there are qualifications and parameters that anyone who bids on our RFP have to fall, and it's based on a point system. So while earning the most points doesn't necessarily guarantee you a contract, it is one of those things where it's scales. So we would hope that our current vendor would align with the qualifications to allow them to be able to bid on it, because we would love to be able to keep them on board if that was an option. I see another question in the chat that says, would you please share what changed with our status on the kitchen that is allowing us to prepare food on site again this year? Yes, absolutely. So the biggest part is that we were able to come to a joint agreement with the Girl Scouts that allowed us to utilize the food permit that is currently existing without us having to get our own food permit or to secure a vendor outside of the Girl Scouts to provide our meals. The vendor that we're actually using, A Simmering Affair, Miss Tina actually was on staff over the course of the summer for Girl Scouts preparing their meals for their campers on site, and got rave reviews, and Girl Scouts actually recommended the idea to us, like, hey, would it be possible? Is it something that you'd be interested in, where Miss Tina could provide meals for the students during the school year? So once that opportunity came about, we kind of worked endlessly in a short time frame to make it come to fruition, which is why at open house, we were still kind of in the wee hours waiting to get that last signature, that last okay. But again, thankfully, we were able to pull it off. Any other questions? Oh, Amber.
Hi, I had put it in the chat, but for some reason I don't see my question again. So I know that we were supposed to use Infinite Campus Portal to add funds for the food service, and I did that when, like, the first day of school, but none of the funds are coming out. So I wanted to make sure I'm not supposed to be adding on a continuous basis, or why the funds aren't coming out. I just wanted to make sure, or what I needed to do to remedy that.
No, so you've done everything correctly on your end. We are using physical tick sheets as the students come through the line, almost like an attendance sheet, to click off the students, and then those are manually entered into our system. We are getting a brand new POS. So the same system you're using, we're just getting a computer basically to be housed inside of our cafeteria, which will then allow for our students to have their ID cards, which they'll receive with a barcode, to be scanned, and then that will automatically deduct from their account. So that will be implemented within the next 2 weeks.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Hi, yes, April. Just to piggyback after that question, is there going to be like a bill that's sent out to the parents for these last couple of weeks for the meals, or are they free?
I'm sorry, you broke off a little bit. Is there going to be some, I didn't catch the end part of your statement or your question.
Is there going to be a statement sent out to the parents for like last week and this week payment for the meals, or will the payments not start until?
So Two things. One, as a part of your parent portal, you have access to be able to see your students' meals at any time. The POS system itself, as those are live and the cards, the students are coming through the line, they're being scanned, you'll be able to see those transactions live. But to answer your question, yes, I can push out a statement to all parents at the end of next week for the meals for the past 2 weeks.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And Michelle, I'm not sure if you still have another question or your hand is still up from the previous one.
It's probably still up from the previous.
Okay, no worries. On that note, I will hang around and answer some of the questions that do remain in the chat room. And again, I thank you for your time, and I will kick it back over to Marquella and to Keisha. Thank you again, everyone.
Thank you so much,
Real
Ms.
quick,
Naima.
Marquella.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
This is Helena. I'm sorry. Real quick, Naima, can you speak to the time frame where the meals that are being served will turn into the alternate meal? I know we had talked about, accounts being up to date. Can you give some insight so parents are aware of when that alternate meal will start?
Yes, absolutely. And thank you for sharing that, reminding me, Principal Brown. So part of, as I mentioned, us kind of keeping with the same vein of policy and procedure prior to us being in the, and when we were in the national program and now that we're not, one of those things is that we are making sure that students and families continue to be accountable for their students' account balances. In doing so, we've taken on providing alternate meals, which basically means that if a student's account goes negative $10 is the most that a student will be able to charge in their account without having funds there to cover it. Beyond that, communications are constantly going out to our parents, as well as our parents all have active visibility into our students' food service accounts. So when that happens, once they've exceeded that point of you're at negative $10 and money has not been applied to your account, a student receives an alternate meal. The alternate meal is not the meal that is provided on the food service line. They do not pass through the cafeteria line, but instead they're provided an alternate meal that's given to them during their homeroom, and they bring with them as a sack lunch to the cafeteria to eat. This is allowed to happen on 3 occasions. So 3 consecutive occasions. Let me provide clarity to that. So again, the student's account goes into the negative. Prior to that, the minute they have gone negative beyond a penny, parents are already receiving communications. Inside of your Infinite Campus parent portal, it's imperative that you're making sure that you've signed up for text updates so that you're able to get those communications when your student's balance does go low, and you can go ahead and add funds to it, or you can set up reoccurring payments, whichever one is easier for you. You also have the option of being able to come in and bring cash payments and those being loaded to your student's account. The easier, obviously, is to do it through Infinite Campus, and it happens more real time when you do it that way as well. So it goes negative, you've been communicated with, you're at the -10 mark, your student now receives an alternate lunch. They receive an alternate lunch once, you're communicated with again that they've received it, they receive an alternate lunch twice, you've been communicated that they've received it. They receive an alternate lunch a 3rd time. You've also been communicated that they've received it. At this point, we will engage our on-campus social worker, because again, we want to make sure that at the end of the day that our little people are always protected and making sure that they're receiving what's in their best interest. So if there's something that might be transpiring at home that we can assist with, whether that be, a loss of wages or, maybe there's a loss of shelter, whatever the case may be, we want to make sure that if we can be of any of assistance that we want to be. Does that provide the clarity you need, Principal Brown?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, thank you again, everyone.
There's a couple of questions in the chat. Do you want to answer those maybe in the chat or a sidebar for those few questions that's there?
Yes, I absolutely can.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, guys, so we're going to move on in our presentation. We wanted to call out a couple of ways that you guys can get involved. And so one of the things that's going to be new for us this year is parents have the option to submit a proposal to start an after-school club. So if you are a parent that wants to start a running club, a walking club, or any activity that you think will bring value to our campus, there is going to be in the newsletter coming up a form that you can fill out to submit a proposal. It does not mean that the proposal will get approved, but this is an opportunity for us to build some extra after-school clubs that are available. If your proposal is approved, you will have to go through a background check, which is the background check that we use when we come into the school. I believe it's the Raptor system. You also will have to indicate what the fees would be that will go to the parents for the kids participating in the club, as far as materials that they would need, and also the hours that you will be hosting the club. We're trying to encourage any clubs that are proposed to the school to be something that could be enjoyed by all grade levels. So we're thinking about our KG all the way to our 4th grade as well. So just know that more is to come in the newsletter where you guys can actually submit a proposal, and we will have that proposal form listed on our website as well. You can join a committee. In a few moments, you're going to hear our committee leads talk about the different things that they have going on. And so you can always feel free to join a committee. You can pay your dues so that you can make sure that you are an active participant in being able to vote on things and receive some of the goodies that are out there. You can also volunteer. In a couple of slides, you'll see a few volunteer opportunities that we have going on. And I know that Anita and Sally, who is our leads for our volunteer committee, would welcome any people that would like to volunteer as often as possible. So those are some ways that you can get involved if you didn't already know. And also you can support with some of our passive fundraisers. If you do any shopping at Publix, you can go ahead and sign up to get some of the savings that you have turned over to money that will eventually go to the school. Same thing when you're shopping at Office Max. And if you need some labels for your child as well, go over to Mabel Labels, find our school, and you will be able to get some of that money back and go into the school as well. And then also Pop Tops, right there is the referral code. And we can also email it out too, so that you guys can get your Pop Tops information set up so that we can start to receive some funds that way as well. So these are all different passive fundraisers. And if there are any other passive fundraisers that you guys know about that we're not already taking part of, please let us know and we'll be happy to get our school signed up. We also want to say thank you for all the ways that you have already shown up. So I know that many of you guys came and helped with the move-in support that took place August 1st and 2nd and even beyond that time. We also had a lot of our committee leads available to help support Base Camp and Open House. And everybody that donated to the Donors Choose that took place August 15th, we were able to help Miss Rosita get her project funded, and we were able to help Miss Ferrara along her way as well. And then also what you guys are going to see new this year is a way for us to capture your volunteer efforts. So at the front desk, you will see this form available and you'll be able to scan the QR code and you will be able to track the time that you spent volunteering. So it's going to be very important that whenever you come on campus to volunteer, that you scan this QR code or you follow the form so that you can track the number of hours that you participated in volunteering. We also will send the link out as well. So if you're ever doing any volunteering outside of school hours, it may be cutting up papers for your teacher, or I don't know, building ribbons for the Red Ribbon Week that we need, you'll be able to log your hours there as well. Now I'm going to turn it over to Abby to kick us off for our committee lead updates.
What are y'all doing? Sorry, y'all.
That's okay.
Yeah, sorry, I am solo parenting tonight, so jumping around. Hi everyone. I am leading the beautification committee, which was a newer committee toward the end of last school year. And I'm Simon's mom. Oh, here's Simon. And the beautification committee, the focus right now is helping to support the launch of the Learning Garden, which is technically not a project of the beautification committee, but I'm partnering with Sarah Buckley to support the building and installation of the garden. And so we need all hands on deck for that on Friday, the 25th, between 1 and 5. And that is a really exciting project. There was a grant that the school received. And that's allowing this learning garden to be built with the participation of our STEM and our physical education teachers. There's a lot of opportunity there to do so many things. So it's very exciting. It comes with a student studying in the field from KSU to come out and do a site visit. We'll have a blender to make smoothies with some things that we grow in the garden. It's a really exciting project. Some other things that
I actually go to school there.
that we would like to do. We'd like to beautify the front and Pebblebrook entrances, do some tidying up and planting so that we have annuals blooming continuously to beautify and welcome everyone. And last year we started the rock garden at the entrance, and we'd like to continue to add to that. One thing that's really special about our campus is that we share it with the Girl Scouts, and so everything that we do is also a way to thank them for letting us be there. And with the support and participation of Officer Johnston last year, we started the campus cleanup days, which we have not set a schedule yet, but it's surprising how quickly, even though we're pretty mindful people, I think, that little bits of trash, especially Capri Sun, straw, bits. Yes, it is. Sorry. Those I think we picked up more of those than any other piece of trash, but that's a fun way to get involved. It's pretty easy to just walk around and to help pick up any litter around the campus. And Officer Johnston is a really fantastic person and can give you some great stories, and it's a nice way to get to know people and just go for a walk on our beautiful campus. Somebody says, "Oh, hi Candace, love the rock garden." I know all the kids are like, "Look, Miss Abby, this is my rock." So it's really sweet. And we had planted some flowers. It's such a shady spot. I'd like to plant some shade loving plants there so that we can make it more gardeny, not just the rocks. No, we don't have a schedule for the cleanup days yet, but that'll be coming up very, very soon. Probably right after Labor Day. And every other Friday is what we had been doing, and that seems sufficient. Every Friday I think would not really be necessary, because even the every other Friday, the first day we had like one huge bag and then a little bit less every time after that. So that's good. That means that our kids and our staff is really very mindful of keeping up with everything. But
Candace, did you have a question? Go ahead.
Really quickly, I just got a note about where the rock garden is. Abby, can you share with everyone where it is so that folks can look out for it?
Oh yeah, so the rock garden, the kids decorated rocks in STEM, and I came in and had a lot of fun watching the kids do that. And then they were shellacked, so the paint won't just run off. And then we had a crazy train of like installing this rock garden. And so when you park and you're walking in, like you're at the top of the sidewalk going into the, sorry, I have so many distractions. I'm trying really hard to focus. Going down to the dining hall, it's on the left. There's the really sweet sign that has all the different, like it's pointing to all the different things, and it's around the base. And they're just, small flat rocks in a concentric circle. Yeah, they were the rocks from last year. Yeah, it was with the STEM class. Yeah.
But I think Roxanne is asking because we decorated rocks at the back to school event. I think from what I remember, Roxanne, it's just the ones that they did in the STEM class. And
Yeah.
forgive me for not being able to respond to where it was. I thought it would be better.
You're correct. I know that there were some, that was kind of the launching point for that project, was knowing that had been done. But I don't know what happened to all of those rocks. It would be really fun to add them to what we've already done. Because the idea, I think, is to grow the garden, just like any other garden. But I think it's also fun because a lot of the kids are used to, whether it's, I know there's the Smyrna, Georgia Rocks Facebook group where people kind of, hide and hunt for rocks.
And I can answer that. So those rocks are located by Principal Brown's office. And so we just have to make a plan to grab them and then lay them out. But I think that we can do that. But just to honor time, we got about 15 minutes left. So if we have any additional questions, can we just pop them in the chat, please? Thank you guys so much. And thank you, Abby, for the updates. And if you want to join, reach out to Abby or reach out to us on the website. I'm sure she will be happy to have you.
Absolutely. I'll put my email in the chat as well.
Thank you so much, Abby.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to turn it over to the fundraising and events committee. Heather and Lanika, can you guys give us a little update?
Sure. Hi, everybody. This is Lanika. As Marquilla said, my co-lead is Heather. So what we have coming forward really quickly is that we do have the back to school picnic potluck style that was in the newsletter. So if everybody can sign up, or at least just say that you're RSVPing, even if you can't bring anything, that's okay. Just come and show up. We have a lot of fun activities for all the kids to do. So we're really excited to meet our new parents as well as our returning parents as well. So that is not this Saturday, but next Saturday. I believe it's the 26th. I'm sorry if I'm saying the wrong date, but the next Saturday. And then after that, which we'll go into more detail, we do have the Raise Craze fundraiser, which we are really, really excited about. We just did the webinar with them yesterday, so we will send out the details for that. And Heather, if I'm missing anything, please chime in, but that's what we have coming up so far.
That sounds like it covers it. We're really excited about the picnic again. To echo what she said, super excited to meet new families and come together with old friends. Do come, even if you can't bring anything. We just love to have you there, but we'd love to have you bring a plate too. That would be super fun. But we really, I think we were very excited about the fundraiser. But after the webinar yesterday, I really think we're really even more excited about it. It really ties into our value about making stewards of our community. It's a kindness-based fundraiser, so it's not a jogathon or a readathon or anything like that. It will be everyone, and it's also an equitable fundraiser, so you don't everyone will be recognized, whether you raise money or if you just do an act of kindness. So we're very excited about that, and look forward to sharing all that information with you guys soon. Again, just the same as last year, we are looking forward to hosting Spirit Night. Starting our first Spirit Night, I believe, is in October at Mooyah. It's, I believe, the 19th. It's the 12th. It's the second Thursday of the night. So we had a really great time at Mooyah last year. It is a give back event. So they do donate a portion of their sales back to our school, and we had a blast last year, and such a good opportunity just to sit casually and talk with our teachers and our families, and just let the kids play and get to know each other. So we always appreciate your attendance at that and look forward to seeing everybody at those events.
Thank you so much, Heather and Lanika. If anybody is interested in joining the fundraising and events committee, I'm sure that Heather and Lanika will be happy to have you join. And I'm going to turn it over to Anita and Sally to talk to about the volunteer committee.
Hello, I'm Anita. And first of all, I'd like to thank everyone who has come out so far to support the school, helping out at Space Camp, moving and helping out the teachers. So thank you so much for that. I'm going to try to be quick. So I'm part of the volunteer committee. We would love to have you come, help support the school, help events run smoothly, and just help the school get to where it needs to go. We will have meetings on the first Tuesdays of every month. And, you know, we're looking for people to join the committee, as well as just people who would like to sign up for various events that are going on campus throughout the year. And as a side note, training, we will have a volunteer orientation, and training will be necessary for anyone who plans to volunteer on campus and interact with the students. And also anyone who signed up at base camp to join the committee, we will have that information coming out soon. So we will be emailing you and contacting you very soon. And so I think I got it all. Does anyone have any questions?
Thank you, Anita. I appreciate you guys. Again, if
I had a
anybody
quick question. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay. I just wanted to ask, I know we had to do a background check. Do we do one every year, or does that roll over?
So no, anytime anyone comes onto the campus to help out, they will have to go through the Raptor system, which is at the front desk. And in addition to that, so, you know, we have things like lunch duty coming up. So if you were wanting to help out during lunch, you would need to complete the volunteer orientation first, which would be, you know, probably about an hour or less session. And then there's also a quiz that would need to be filled out.
Okay, the reason I asked is that was what it was presented for us to volunteer last year, was to do a background check. So I'm just trying to check that, are we still backgrounding parents? And if so, are we doing one every year, or is it rolling over based off what's on the record now?
It's supposed to be annually, so you'd have to get recertified every year. But
Okay.
you know, if you're talking about like an extensive background check, I think that's something that would not be required unless you're doing the overnight field studies. And I mean, Principal Brown can add further clarification if you need.
Yeah, that's correct. There shouldn't have been any background checks last year that were required, just the volunteer orientation and the mandated reporter training. You'll do those anytime you come on campus. You'll, you know, be checked in via Raptor. And the only time where you'll actually have to get an outside background check is if you are planning to do overnight field studies, which begins in 4th grade.
Okay, so I'm going to say this. There was definitely where we had to do a background check, and it was sent in the newsletter last year. And I remember I was told I could not volunteer on campus, and I had to get that sent in. That was something that was paid. But there was something in the newsletter, and I can go back and pull that up if need be. I guess my question is just making sure, you know, I thought that was great that all the parents that were volunteering on the campus had to be background. But now I'm like really confused, because I'm like, okay, we had to do that last year, and now, I mean, my son was in the 2nd grade. I'm not understanding why I would have had to pay to go get that, but they sent it to you guys. So I can talk about that offline, but mainly just finding out if we're doing background checks on parents that are coming on campus to do volunteer work, interacting with the kids, like I thought last year.
Right. No, there weren't. So I apologize if there was any confusion with that. There wasn't any background checks. But what it does, our Raptor system runs any and everyone through any like sexual databases. And so that's what Raptor does. It's not necessarily a background check, a full background check, to make sure that everyone, isn't on the, sex offender registry.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Thank you.
And that includes all workers on campus and everything.
Okay, great. Thanks, Principal Brown.
Just jump in on that too. I agree because Principal Brown, me and my husband, we both did a full background check where we went and got the fingerprints done. And after the volunteer training last fall, they told us that we were going to volunteer like on campus, that we needed to have a full background check with fingerprints. And I thought it was a good idea too. So I had the same question as just the previous parent. Is that something we're going to have to do every year? But it sounds like that's only necessary if we're going to do overnight volunteering. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. It's only for overnights. So again, not sure. Again, all I can say is I apologize if you actually did go pay and get a background check. I'm assuming it's just like we do at work, where they last for 3 to 5 years before you have to get another one. That's separate. But you will need to do the mandated reporter training yearly, and you will need to do the volunteer orientation yearly. And anytime that you come to campus, you will have to be ran through the Raptor system.
Is that every time, Principal Brown? The Rapture system? I guess that's what you're saying, what you scan, so it does it every time?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right, guys, we're going to turn it over. Thank you so much, Anita. And if you guys are interested in the volunteer committee, please reach out to Anita or Sally and let them know. And now I'm going to turn it over to Roxanne and Tiffany to give us any updates about the wellness committee.
Thank you, Marquilla. My name is Roxanne Hamilton. My son is Jaden, and he's in the 2nd grade. Tiffany is my co-lead, and I don't want to take it all over, but I believe her son is in 1st grade. And we are leading the wellness committee, which is focused on overall well-being. We have 4 pillars that we decided to hone in on. That's physical, mental, social, emotional, and environmental. So you will see activities throughout the year or resources throughout the year that relate to those areas. We did several things last year and are hoping to increase or maybe just do some different things this year. So if you have ideas, please let us know. Marquilla mentioned a walking club and some of her examples. That is something that we had discussed last year. So if people have specific interest in that, we would be the committee to reach out to. You can lead it on your own also, but I think it would be a great partnership. We only have 3 members currently, so Tiffany, myself, and 1 other member. So we welcome as many people that would like to participate, but it would be great if we could get a total of 10 on the committee just to be able to share the load a little bit. We meet once a month. I believe these meetings are 3rd Thursday, so we would meet on the 2nd Thursdays of each month, usually for about an hour. So it's not a ton of commitment. The first event will be the breast cancer walk, which is currently scheduled for October 14th. So you guys should see some communications coming out about that in the near future. We'll create a team and then send that out for you guys to sign up so that we can walk as a crew together. And any other dates you guys will see on the calendar, or we'll announce them well in advance. Any questions? Okay, come join us. It's fun.
Thank you,
It's super
Roxanne.
fun. Roxanne is awesome.
Did you want to say anything, Tiffany?
Oh, saying the wellness committee is super fun. Roxanne is an awesome lead, now co-lead. And so we welcome anybody who has an interest or even just a passive interest in wellness.
Thank you, ladies. I'm going to speak for the crew parent coordinating group. We will get notification by August 25th from the educators of the crew parents that they have picked for their classrooms. From there, you'll get communication from me, and we will come together and talk about the roles and responsibilities of a crew parent and get a group started so that we can make sure that we can support our educators this year as well. And I'm going to turn it over to Keisha to wrap us up.
Thank you, Marquila. So I leading up the yearbook committee. We got all great feedback last year. We know what you guys like, what you didn't like. I would just say that if you're interested, whether it's taking photos at events or wanting to proofread or edit or give suggestions on layout, any way that you can contribute, please reach out to me, and we'll share some information as we go along. I have 1 minute to get this together. So really quick, we've been popping the PTO website in the chat because the next 3 slides are going to cover things that are already there. So I know that everyone is busy. And it's hard and it's important because sometimes you do forget things. So we have the newsletter that comes out every Wednesday from the school, and we try to capture events on our website that you can also save to your calendar and set your own personal reminder. So coming up, there's 3 events next Saturday. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday, we will need help building out our garden, and that will be from 1 to 5. We just talked about ways that you can support us, whether it's paying your dues or volunteering for a committee. I would say pop in if you have an hour that you can give, if you can dedicate 1 month, however you can support us. We do have the opportunity to serve or to give our teachers a little break during the week, during lunch duty, and that would be on Wednesdays and Fridays. So more information will be coming out about that. The next slide, Mark Wheeler. The next slide, so just some quick reminders, and these are again on our website and in the calendar, but these are the ones that are coming up pretty soon. So we know that Community Circle is tomorrow. It's an awesome event. Encourage you to come out, support your little ones, and just get into that Amana spirit. So it's going to be broken into 2, and you can see that the yellow circle on the screen. We have the potluck, the back to school picnic that Heather and Lanika spoke about. Curriculum night is coming up. That will be in person, so more information to come. And lastly, asking you to definitely become a member. We have 2 important things coming up, which is the approval for the budget as well as the 2 open positions. And then lastly, just thanking everyone. It was such a great meeting, great participation. Wish that we could go a lot longer. You have our info. Please reach out to us. Know that our next meeting will be in September 21st. It will be in person. So this is a great opportunity for you to connect with parents in your class that you may not have been able to, and to connect with us. So thank you all again for supporting us and for joining this evening.
Thank you, guys. And I just want to call out the time change for the in-person meeting. It's going to be from 5 p.m. to 6:15. So that is an adjustment. Hopefully we've given you enough time in advance to be able to make it there.
If we can't make it, for staff for joining, Principal Brown and your team, thank you so much for supporting us.
Yes, we appreciate you guys. Take care.
If we can't make it, will it be a Zoom meeting or link as well? If we can't make it.
We're going to try our hardest. We tried it during our in-person meeting last year to do it. Some people said they could hear just fine. Others said they couldn't. So we'll do the same setup and really hope that technology works with us.
Got it. Okay. Thank you. You guys have a great night.
You too.